welcome to the Broken Generation. Black in the place.
Broken.
Black in business.
Yeah.
Black in effect. Today we are joined by a special guest.
Huge guest.
So what we said? We said local legend.
Local legend. We're saying movie producer,
Okay.
script writer,
Okay.
big time, soon to be author,
Okay.
big poet. Boy, rumor is top 3 best in Gloucester.
This is
on
what
the
you wanna
mic.
address.
I love the flowers. Keep the flowers coming.
You want to address?
Man, like used to be called C-Raw.
For real?
Might be known as LGS.
Oh, wow.
Now you're
man's taking
going.
it
Oh,
way
my
back.
days.
Giving a little history session here, man. I like that.
Was it?
Big Taz.
Big
Might
Taz.
even be Big Taz.
What you
My
mean?
gosh.
Big Taz.
Those are the tape days, you know. We used to make
Yeah.
tapes.
Oh my days. It's Mr. Simi, yeah. My only the originals know about them tunes, you know.
Oh, yes. Hold
Big-
tight, the originals.
Big Craig
Hold tight,
Al.
the originals. Yeah.
Big Craig, Anthony Lewis.
Okay.
Nah, that's a big. You've never ever done an intro for me like that. Ever in the whole time we podded.
Oh dear.
Man's IMBD is popping.
Oh.
Gee, keep
Man's
it going.
got how many Instagram followers, Facebook followers? Yeah.
Okay.
Stay out of the DMs. He's married.
I'm not paying him a commission, by the way.
I know. I don't know what's going on here.
I didn't know he
people.
studied me like that, but love, bro.
Freestyle legends. Yeah. Off the top of the dome bars and that.
We're still in the intro.
We haven't finished. We haven't come out. Big Dreddy. Big Dreddy now, yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Mr. C-Raw, Craig Lewis. Let's give him a round of applause, guys.
Welcome to the pod, my brother.
Thank you, man. And thank you for having me, man. I've been watching you guys do your thing, and I'm thinking, when's my time gonna come?
We appreciate the support. 'Cause I know
Love,
even
love.
for true, I know you've reached out a few
Love.
times, and
Yeah, man, respect.
you know you show love. So,
Respect.
but the timing has to be right.
Yeah, of course.
Today, the timing's right.
Of course. Yeah.
So, obviously, we spoke a little bit about it before. Not an interview, but we're gonna ask you about how things are, what things are going like. But it's a podcast, so we do like to go all over the place.
Yeah, that's all good.
You know, but first and first, I don't even know if you need an introduction after what you just done.
Thank you, dude.
You know, after what you
I owe
just
you a
said.
point.
I don't know, but for the people that didn't get that,
Very important.
you know,
Very
let
important.
them know who you are, what you're currently doing, and then we can dig up the history after that. All right?
Okay. So, the name's Craig Lewis. I'm an actor by profession. I've also become an author recently. I've signed a publishing deal for a poetry book. It's going to be out in stores hopefully January time. And yeah, apart from that, a musician as well, rap and produce. Do a bit of everything, you know. Keeps the time ticking.
Trust me. All right, let's take it back then.
Come on.
Let's discuss. So what we're
Come on.
going to try and do, we'll open up some answers. We'll talk about a certain time, talk about your experience in that time.
Sure.
So let's start from the start. So where did you first pick up the passion for music, art, design, for everything?
Creativity, yeah.
Where did you see that?
Okay, so I could remember exactly how it was. So I left school because I'm an August baby, so I was one of the youngest in the year. So
Okay.
we finished in July, and I remember there's this thing called First Base where they
First
pay,
Base?
Yeah, so this is organization for a month they run, and they pay you £15 a week to find work.
Oh,
So
okay,
the-
yeah, I had one of them. I had one
Yeah,
of them.
London
yeah.
Road thing.
Yeah.
So the first £15 check I got, I went to this place that used to sell like these secondhand games for Xbox One, and there's this thing called Music Generator. So I bought that, and I started producing music from 15. Well, coming on to 16. By the time I was 16, August, I had my little setup where I'd make my tapes. I had like a old school stereo where you could record your vocals on it. Those old school 2-deck ones.
Yeah.
And it started from there, man, making my tapes, always writing, endlessly writing. Every day I had like shoeboxes full of like A4 paper and old pads that were falling apart, just with lyrics, you know. So that was a passion for writing from back then. You know?
So from that, who was inspiring you them times? Like, who was your people you was looking at? Who was the person that was inspiring you?
Yeah, so my uncle, Yeshua, still raps to this day. He used to send tapes to my dad when I was young. And I grew up always wanting to be a rapper. So he was the one that planted the seed for me to want to try it one day.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, my uncle Yeshua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. Where'd you grow up?
I'm originally Treadworth, then Coney Hill. But yeah, Coney Hill, Treadworth.
Secondary school?
Treadwell School, and then St. Bridge.
St. Bridge.
It was called Central back then when I started, actually.
Old time, the Central.
Okay.
It's like a reunion, isn't it?
Yeah. That's all right. That's calm. That's calm.
So back then, what was the scene like? Like, what was the Gloucester scene like? Because obviously we've seen it like blossom and then go down. I'm not sure where it's at the moment, but I know there was a stage where it was like really blossoming and people were active in the scene.
Yeah, you know what? Around about the time when I started putting out stuff, because I was about 18 and I was on a music technology course, and I remember GFM was doing once a year. They come on for 4 weeks in the summer, and I remember at the time I recorded an album, my first album, and John Musto reached out to me. And he was the first one to spin me. So at the time, I thought, why? I'm like, this is happening for me, you know?
Yeah. First of all, before we had to ignite for that, man said he was the first man to spin me. Oh my God.
On air. D, you always have to lower the tone, bro.
No, I'm not lowering the tone.
You know what? I would say John Musto because he was the first man to play my music as well.
Man spun you as well,
He played my music. I remember the fair was on. Yeah. It was the full weeks. It was that month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went on the show.
Yeah.
And then, he played my music.
Yeah. Man's legendary spin man guy,
What kind of room are you trying to start?
From your lips, innit? From one of man's lips, innit? No. Go on, keep talking. So, GFM always been a supporter for local music and local talent. So that's
old time.
Yeah. And back then there wasn't really no YouTube or like social media wasn't a thing then. So, I was getting my music out there by just sending my uncles. My uncle had a store, Coney Shops, and I used to sell my CDs for $5 from his shop, and that was the only way of getting my music out there, really. Yeah. And then MySpace came along a little bit later. You know,
you're legendary known for like your albums, in the sense that you've not stopped.
For real,
it's passion.
Like, so what you say? What's the year? What year are we talking about now?
So the first album dropped 2003. No, 2002 was my first one.
Mad.
Yeah, so that's like
some of our listeners might not even be born.
I know.
Listeners, I'm watching.
I know.
That's crazy,
my
isn't
age, man. I have to start dying of grades. No, of course. I got a little coming through, but you know.
So this, how many albums do you reckon you've put in out? Because
Boy,
you're like a real independent artist, so you're
for real.
You're creating the beats, you're recording, you're paying for recording, you're doing all of the pressing up yourself.
Well, not so much now.
Yeah.
But back then I was, because obviously studio, I didn't have access to equipment.
Yeah.
But now, since lockdown, I've been doing everything from my little setup at home.
So how many over the years? How many albums do you reckon you've put out? Can you remember?
Do you know what? I might need some. You might have to pause the camera for me to come back to you. But now, roughly. So the CDs that are just out there, not online or nothing. So there was about 5 of them. Yeah. And since online, I got about 7.
Okay.
7. I might have missed some.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's like the hard work. That's how it is, yeah.
Yeah. About 12. Okay. No,
but this year alone, I'm working on my 4th album that's coming out on my birthday, August 15th.
4th album for the year.
This year alone.
For the year, yeah. So 4 albums in a year, man.
Wow, that's that work, isn't it? That's
but
that work.
Do you know what I found? That the more that I've done stuff, the more easier it comes.
Yeah.
So I can knock out like sometimes two tracks in a day.
Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes 3 if I really put my mind to it. So that's like from scratch. You know what I mean?
So what's going to be good? We'll talk a little bit about that later. Is the mindset of an artist? Because now I'm the complete opposite.
Okay.
So it might take me weeks to do one tune.
Okay.
But so I don't know what. Obviously, we've got different mindsets. But it'd be good to get into that mindset.
Yeah.
And talk about your motivations compared to what mine are.
Yeah.
Compared to what's blocking me.
Yeah.
Compared to what's
those processes, creative.
Yeah. What the processes are.
Yeah,
so it'd be good to get into that. But we'll get a bit more into that. So. Gloucester Scene, you're putting out music. Obviously, you've been on GFM. What was next for you? What did you feel like was next for your career, or what was next?
Okay, so I remember doing my first show back in the day. DJ Funky 9, shout out to him, was my first DJ as well. We done a first show at the Guildhall. So yeah, it was always just the love of hip hop. I wasn't one of those guys to be in the club every weekend. I'd be saving my studio time money, so I'd be booking studios and recording tunes. So yeah. But performance wise, there wasn't really that much going on in Gloucester other than that Guildhall performance.
2002, did you say?
So that was when the
first album came out.
Yeah.
And soon after that, I'm trying to think back in terms of what the scene was like back then.
Garage, innit?
Yeah, it's probably heavy.
It was a massive garage, like 2002, 2003.
We didn't even start hitting hip hop, did we?
Nah,
that didn't go as big as everyone was. Yeah.
So there was a few. There was obviously you yourself doing it. No Morals.
Yeah.
There was a few other hip hop like people I remember. Fade.
I remember BT was had a couple mixtapes back then as well.
Okay, yeah. But then even I think BT then was on the garage thing more than from what I remember. Because like there was only a few hip hop artists, and they were kind of looked upon like
that's exactly how it was.
It wasn't because hip hop in England hadn't been
for real.
So everyone was still on like underground sounding music, underground like UK. Hip hop was American Voices? Were people saying American Voices back in then?
Yeah, I think definitely because in my earlier years I was very America influenced. It's only recently for the past 2-3 years I've actually found my own sound.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that actually.
I used to be an American Voice.
Someone spits fire.
Calm down. I definitely was an Americanized voice, and mainly that was because the music I was listening to was American.
Yeah.
And because I was so hip hop influenced by American sides, I wasn't really listening to a lot of UK hip hop, and even the UK hip hop that I did listen to and I thought was dope, like Skinny Man and was it Ty and those
Black Twang,
classic.
Yeah.
Even when they were coming along, I wasn't always listening to them. Yeah. So my ears were literally only listening to American.
And to be fair, there was only like Tim Westwood that would be spinning them, man. Like, and you'd have to wait till late to hear it. It wasn't like it wasn't in the daytime. It was late night on a Friday and Saturday.
And it's crazy to think, isn't it? Like how exposed the new generation are to UK music compared to what we seen.
Of course.
Like, and I think for me, that's why I gravitated so much to garage and grime.
Yeah.
So
because that was my scene. Like I listened to the Americans. I didn't grow up listening to hip hop. I grew up listening to dancehall and reggae. So I didn't listen. Like a lot of the music I listened to late. Probably the first artist I listened to was Tupac. So what's that, 96? Around them times.
Yeah.
So, and then I wasn't really listening to it to be an artist. I only really wanted to be an artist after the garage and grime days. So how do you think your music has changed over those years? Because you was influenced by the early hip hop.
Yeah.
Now we're talking 2023. It's a different sign.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm still to be honest. I don't really listen to a lot of the new stuff out there. You know, so I'm very influenced still from the 90s. Like,
is that solely by choice?
Yeah, definitely. I think because it doesn't. I mean, I've heard a couple of tracks. There are a couple of exceptions like Kendrick and J. Cole. They're man of lyricists, you know. But like other than that, it's like this mumble kind of songy type of flows. It's not really my thing, you know what I mean? So. Yeah.
I hear that. I think most generations or most people have a set generation in their head of music that they listen to. So for me, there's like, I don't know if it's finished yet, but it's like there's a go-to era that I think is my golden era, and you may have a golden era. And artists that came out of that period, which you affiliate to, whereas I may not. I guess that's kind of it. Because like there's people that are so extremely passionate about artists that just come out today.
Yeah.
Because today's music to them is what I don't know. So Solid Crew was to me, or
100%.
Pioneers. They're like looking at them as pioneers, but then we're looking past it and saying, but it's been done, just not done like this.
Yeah.
Where for us, we felt like what we were listening to, no one hasn't done before. And I guess, like you said, they feel the same way because we could show them some tracks. You could show someone like Slit Rick and then say like this kind of party that was back in the 80s, and they're like, nah. What this person's doing now is brand new.
Yeah, 100%.
So I get that. Okay, so we're talking back then. How did you feel? We spoke a little bit about you being hip hop, and it was a bigger garage scene. How did you feel the difference? Like, do you feel like you weren't accepted to be a hip hop artist, or did you feel like you were just in your own lane doing your own thing anyway? Yeah,
I definitely felt like I was going against the wave because that stuff was, you know, a lot of attention was put on that stuff, the garage. And so I did feel like underestimated, and even to this day, you know, but if the passion's there, you overlook that and just keep going, you know. So.
Yeah, it's crazy because we've gone through a time in terms of seeing artists that were just artists and liked and liked the art because that's all they could do.
Yeah.
They were saving their money on to have a second job to save their money to make music and pull it out, not because they thought there's money in the music.
Yeah.
Because there was no money back in the day. And now we've gone through like a sphere where people are like, yeah, music money is dope. Let's try and get the money through music. And it may not even be a passion thing. But for you to hear you say that, look, being creative, making those things is your passion.
Yeah, totally.
It's dope to see. And it's different because most people, if they want to make it, quote unquote, in the industry, in the music industry, they have to find a niche or they have to be super popular. It's rarely a time when you could do both and be successful. So
yeah, and it's even, I mean, the industry on itself has changed now because, you know, it's all streams now. Like, I'm from the time where you could walk into a record store and you see CDs. Sometimes I'd have to order over the counter because it wasn't on the shelf, you know what I mean? And that's the independent stuff. So yeah, it's changed a lot now. I think nowadays it's more, you need a merchandise because, you know, streams alone, there's not much money in that. You know, unless you're doing live shows and getting regular.
There's always money in streams, but it's not for the artists. There's definitely there will always be millions and billions of pounds in music, but not for the artists necessarily. So I definitely agree with you in that regards. So what my suggestion for you, my question for you is, in regards to music, is it a passion that you want to take around the world, sort of thing? Do you want to make your music money, or do you care just about it's a way of expressing yourself and that's what you care about?
I think it's definitely more of a addiction than a hobby. You know, I'm always freestyling around the house, so I always got ideas and melodies to go make a tune. And once I got a setup there, I mean, it's hard for me to go on my setup for a day without thinking of a beat or something. You know,
I ain't gonna lie. I feel mad uncomfortable. You said addiction.
Here we go again.
Is my addiction.
Here we go again.
They said it's hard for me to go a day without a beat.
This guy, luckily we know him. We know him. This is his addiction to keep on finding these loopholes to get up.
I don't have addiction. I have a female shun. Yeah.
Okay, there's a new one.
A gal shun. I have a gal shun.
You're idiot.
No, I'm joking.
Right, let's swiftly move on.
Yes, swiftly.
So obviously we got a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So music, give me 2 things you feel that never went right for you in music. Like, what 2 things do you feel like looking back, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe if this could have happened but it didn't.
I think going back, the opportunity is because I remember me and Dean was in a group also called Found Souls, and there was a time when we were offered.
Big up Found Souls.
we got offered a little contract from a local, I think was it Magic Inc. And yeah, I think the genuine interest from them supporting us wasn't really about us as artists.
Yeah,
they saw 2 people that performed live. At the time, we had a song that was quite popular called Found, and which I wrote and produced. And so from that, they saw, okay, maybe we can work with something. So it wasn't really a sense of having our best interest at heart, you know. So I think nobody really took us seriously as an artist in the terms where they saw us the potential to push us forward. More for there's something in them for now from a popular song.
Yeah, the noise that I got back from Found, that song Found was huge.
Yeah, it's a big song.
In the sense of so we got news from London. We got news from there was a company called New Generation that wanted to do like a album, like what's that single on their album. It's like a compilation album. We had noise from Birmingham and Bristol in regards to remixing that song.
Yeah.
And trying to make it fresh. And we got to remember we were doing it. I know so it's really about you right now, but I just you know.
But it's part of my history. It's not an interview.
No, I hear it.
But I want to go back to this, so don't say too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to say that there was noise, and the thing is, oftentimes, unless you know what to do with that noise, or if there's people around you, because people saw the potential, especially in terms of like, well, we're probably gonna talk about it later, so I'm gonna talk about it now. But there was stuff that we were doing that other people that was making music weren't doing, in terms of they were just making music and that was it. Whereas we were making music, able to perform, able to
definitely.
We did loads of shows up and down the country.
Remember the show we done in Wolverhampton, and when we came out, they were singing in the car park. They were singing "Found" the chorus.
Right. Don't go any further. That was number 1. We will get number 2. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Talk about the transition from hip hop to Christian. Was it called Christian rap? Is it called gospel? Gospel rap.
Yeah.
So how did that obviously for you, that's been doing it for a long time. Obviously you didn't start doing gospel rap. How did that transition look for you? Why did you make that transition?
Okay. Going back, I was 21. I can remember. I just came out of my first serious relationship. So I was kind of broken at the time, and it's like I went to the church because I grew up in church, you know. But when I went back, I felt.
Let me break up. That's what women do to us men, yeah. They break our hearts, yeah.
It's a good time to check the time.
Not joking. Sorry to
Okay,
interject.
So at the time I was feeling low, and church gave me that hope. And then I heard there was a brother by the name Dean Henry that was rapping.
Jeez, Golden Child, GC.
So I met him for the first time, and he spat me a lyric, and I thought, you know what? I make beats, I rap, you rap, let's work together, innit? So
joke is, I remember you hearing me rapping. Yeah. We were walking home, and it must have my house from the church is like a 10-15 minute walk, and we were rapping the whole time. We're like, let's freestyle it back and forth. Here this bar, here that bar, blah blah blah. I think the next day you must have gave me like 3 beats.
I went rampant. To this day.
It's like to this day. But keep talking.
Yeah. So from then I sent him beats, and then we was working with Lewis Sinclair, wasn't we, at the time? We was booking sessions, and we had an album soon, man. We done the first album, The Found.
Yeah, we had an EP, we had a single, we had a mixtape that we pushed. The mixtape we did in like 2 days, not even 2 days. Was it 1 day recorded?
Was that the one at Lansdowne Studios? Yeah.
That Lansdowne Studios.
Yeah, going back.
All right, so Mr. Henry, obviously you spoke about it. How did you go from like UK Gloucester rapper to Freeway when you became a gospel rapper? What was that transition?
Man said Freeway.
He said Freeway.
You know, Freeway, the American.
First, this guy's.
I'm wondering how you went from like a UK garage MC to an American rapper.
MC,
how did you go from? What was the transition from Chemical to American Golden Child?
Simple. It was a gal. It's always a gal. This gal be destroyed. Nah, listen, no. I heard a song Freeway did with Jay-Z.
Wrong. What we do is wrong.
Oh yeah,
that was the track.
That's Freeway's verse in that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Ignite. No man for blow my mind.
If Freeway's blowing, it makes sense. If Freeway's blowing you, it makes sense. It makes sense why you take the style and the voice.
Ignition.
Oh no.
Ignite it all. Listen, so that's where it came from. I heard that song, and hands down was one of the best verses I've ever heard. I don't know why, but his style, the way he jumped, he did on the beat, and the way he forced Jay-Z to be on the beat, the exact same flow. I was like,
that was it. It was just.
Yeah, and that's only that one song. Yeah, I got his album. It's trash. He
didn't really go anywhere. Did he?
It's just that one song, that one verse. Yeah, that's random, but yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I was wondering, innit?
Appreciate that.
So let's talk a little bit about the gospel rap. Obviously, you did shows. I came to one of the shows. It's a great show, man. I can remember it being one of the best local shows I've ever been to. Just because it was just for music. And obviously you lot had the Holy Spirit and all of that. Which weren't my thing, but I could feel it.
Sorry. Awkwardness in the room.
Why?
You talking about the album that dropped? You know he wasn't on that album, innit?
Oh, you want about
I'm talking about the Fine Souls?
Yeah, Fine Souls.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, alright, wow.
Yeah,
that was part of your group though?
Yeah, well,
so what,
part
you
of the
franchise?
No, I kind of dipped after that.
Oh, is it?
Nah, man found a gal and left the church.
Oh, jeez.
Pause. Damn. No, it didn't go like that. I had questions. No.
Is that what happened?
I'm joking.
No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Regardless of that,
that's not what happened.
That was a journey.
See, this brother just breaking up friendships today, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a journey, and obviously, if it started with you two and ended with other people,
of course, we started something, man.
It was still a journey.
Because initially, that was the plan. It was to establish Found Souls as like the duo rapping, and then have like a crew of people that was Found Souls family. And then the idea was to expand maybe solo albums. Do individuals have solo albums? Create it into like some kind of clique.
So going on from that, I remember I come down to the studio at Lansdowne and we done a track which never came out. So what happened?
Damn, you're going back sometimes.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
What? You remember a bar?
I can't remember the bar at all, but I remember I came down. I forwarded down.
Yeah.
I remember it's all in the studio.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh, you remember it? So what happened?
Yeah, we had a conversation. His verse was crap in it. I was like,
What was that?
Because remember at the time I was dangerous. Like I just fresh come off winning the national championships.
Oh, stop it.
You know them ones, and I
Why
was
don't
trying
I
to do you
remember
man a
that?
favour.
I don't remember it. To be fair. I don't remember.
No, I remember. I can't remember how it materialized. I can't remember what happened, but I remember coming down and we recorded something.
Put it for the mixtape, I reckon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I just because obviously you recorded at my house as well, innit?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Because you used to live on the 2nd Street from
Yeah.
Ryan.
So obviously we done some stuff for the mixtape.
Yeah.
The what's it called rhythm that I tried taking? The
Jurassic Park. Rhythm. Oh my days, we were the first one in the city to touch that rhythm.
I still to this day.
Listen,
The Swiss Beats. Still to
okay.
this day, I love that song.
Glorious. I just want to put that in there. We were the first in the city.
Nah, you was.
Everyone grabbed that beat after.
You was.
I'm not saying they listened to our song and then was like, yeah, let's do it, but they heard the beat. We touched that first. And to be fair, we did quite a lot of things in regards to like music wise first.
So man, big up on yourself.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
So obviously you did that. It was going well. When did you see an end to that? So obviously Dean said you got a girlfriend and left each other.
No, that was not how it went at all. No. I had questions because I listen to a lot of conscious hip hop.
Yeah.
And one of the people I follow and admire is KRS-One. So there was some lyrics that he had that made me question things about Christianity, and I had questions for people in the church, experienced members, and they couldn't answer. So it made me feel unstable in my faith. So I went out to see the world again. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
How's the world been?
Yeah, man, it's been good. It's been good.
Been loving the world. Yeah, good.
Well, I said the world's been good,
But
right?
obviously, man, don't forget the root. I'm still I say more spiritual than
More spiritual person.
Yeah. So guidance. It's all about guidance, man.
Broken Generation podcast is brought to you by Sophisticated Rebel Apparel. Available at www.sophisticatedrebel.uk. Be seen. Be heard. Be you.